ran out of time again. This is where we left off. Everything's trimmed. So since this is going to be a 3D part, we want to loft all the edges anywhere that's going to basically be exposed. So you just hit loft, select the edges, and there we have it. Now one thing you gotta watch for is if you look right here, you'll notice that there's this little overlap here. All you do is you select that part, the outer shell of the engine, hit trim, turn the engine off, and click that, and it automatically cleans that up. So there is our finished engine pylon. The shape. We don't have we'll add panel lines later. I always save the engine and the engine pylon to the same layer. That way you don't lose it. And just to kind of check everything out, it's kind of starting to look like an airliner. Okay, next step after this, which I'm going to do in a separate video because I got to get ready for work, is we're going to do the landing gear. After we finish the landing gear, then we're going to start adding panel lines. But this is what we've got so far. Fuselage. And you notice I cluster everything onto its own individual layer. We have the fuselage with the cockpit and wing root bulge. And we have what I call the feathers. We got the wings, or the flying surfaces. We got the wings and the tail. Usually I put the engines on 3, or on the next layer. I must have missed. We'll just quickly change to layer 3. So we got the engines on layer 3. Layer 4 is going to be for the landing gear. Now we can do this now. Okay. A lot of people say keep asking for formers. This is how I do formers. Do your surface, planar curves, and then you just kind of select. I do it kind of not at random, but anywhere there are major changes in the shape of the fuselage, or anywhere that you go long distances with that where it might need some support. Don't do it for everyone because I still find formers difficult. So this is basically all the formers this one is going to have. You select, press enter, and you've got formers. And they get their own layer, 5. I'm saving 4 for the landing gear. So now, and for the wing former, the wing spar, kind of look, and if you notice, it's actually got this, but for the slats on the front of the plane, you use that line, and the flaps on the back of the wing, use that line. And right here where it switches out, you do that. Oops. I had my finger on. Okay, so that's going to be our wing, the shape of our wing spar. I don't want to go all the way that far out into the wing tips because it'll just be too big. So we trim to even up, and you take this. What I want to do is get this up out of the way. Hit project, turn your wings back on, select the wings, delete that. There's the basis for our wing spar. Hit loft. Basically, you just loft a box and there's our wing spar. What I do here, because I want to be able to tell which way is top forward on the wing spar, I always take and project a line, that heavy gray line you've probably seen, always goes on the top. And you take this, mirror it, which gives us our other side, and for the middle, loft again. Just loft the edges. Make sure you loft the right edges. And then quick grab the end. There's our wing spar. You also want to make sure that your wing spar isn't going to interfere with any of your formers. Change it to the same layer. And then one thing you'll notice is it's got to go through the thing, or through the former, or whatever this thing is called. So, just to make sure that you know where to cut, do an intersection, grab all of these parts, and then the parts on the ring root former, and overlap that, press enter. The problem with selecting all of that now is it's not only going to take forever to do the intersection, this is one thing about Rhino, is it takes up a lot of memory, especially if you're doing something like this. And sometimes on my computer anyway, it crashes. Come on. Alright, I aborted that because it was taking 3.5 forevers. But it still managed to pull it off. So now we're going to clean up all these extra lines we don't need. Okay. Take the solid line, because that was on the top. All the separate lines are actually the ones you want. What I'm going to, it always draws these extra points which we don't need. So Control, you select everything, then press Control, and then click them, and that'll deselect something. So that